A very good morning to our esteemed guests, faculty members, and all attendees. We, Prashant Singh,
and Saloni Devghare
extend a warm welcome to the Thakur Global Business School's 2023 Finance Conclave. Over the years, our annual Finance Conclave has covered a diverse range of topics from emerging startup ecosystems to personal finance, green finance, and ESG, which we discussed at our last conclave. In 2022, we witnessed a rise in artificial intelligence with tools like ChatGPT posing questions related to job security across various sectors.
On the macroeconomic level, we observe the Russia-Ukraine crisis, inflationary pressure worldwide, hawkish central bank policies, and recession fears in the developed world. Additionally, the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank made it the biggest American bank to fail since the collapse of Washington Mutual in the 2008 financial crisis.
With these events in mind, our theme for this year's conclave is Navigating the Financial Landscape 2030 and Beyond. We aim to equip attendees with the tools and strategies needed to navigate the changing financial terrain. Discussions will focus on emerging trends, challenges, and opportunities across various sectors, as well as the evolving role of financial institutions and the implication of the changing financial landscape on the global economy.
As we commence this enriching discussion, we would like to offer you a brief introduction to Thakur Global Business School. Thakur Global Business School, also known as TGBS, established by the Thakur Education Group and managed by Zagru Singh Charitable Trust, is widely recognized as one of the leading business schools in the city. With the approval of AICTE and Government of Maharashtra, TGBS has taken on the legacy of designing and delivering cutting-edge PGDM programs.
We would like to take this opportunity to share a glimpse of our previous financial conclave. It is now our pleasure to invite Ms. Suchi Gautam, our director, to offer a few opening remarks to inaugurate the conclave.
A very joyful morning, each and everyone. Today, on behalf of entire team TGBS, I welcome our eminent speakers for the day, Mr. Sandeep Mantri, CA Pinky Kedia, our esteemed panel members, Mr. Shailesh Kumar, Ms. Kalyani Hindre, and moderator for the event, Mr. Ajit Singh. I also welcome the faculty members from other institutes, our alumni, and the most important participants of the day are dear students and the students of other colleges who have come today to our campus. Welcome to all of you. These conclaves are like the celebration for all of us. In the institute, we call them as a festivals. These are the celebrations of the knowledge, and where our entire team come together and they identify the emerging issues, which can be in the next 4 to 5 years, and then we prepare our budding leaders to face those challenges and how to deal with those things. So topic for today is quite interesting, navigating the financial landscape for 2030. When we were discussing in the boardroom, and I think here, when we see the panel members and the dignitaries, all we belong to the same generation plus 5 year and there. So when we were in our college, that is probably late 90s or early 20s, at that moment, LPG has become the landscape. Our teachers used to come, industry people used to come, they used to talk about liberalization, privatization, globalization. And we have seen, we have witnessed the automation of the exchanges, digitization of the banks. But we have never thought at that moment of time how technology would embed it in the world of finance so much deeper. And today there's a need that what human can add to that technology. Sir was saying that you people are doing very good, that these people are getting so much opportunities. Yes, before moving to corporate, they are aware that what is expected out of them. So that things are changing, world is changing. And with all these years, we all have learned one thing. In this changing world and the world which is so much volatile and connecting, you can't make a mistake to think that you will stay on top indefinitely and stand still. Every time you have to evolve. And with this so much volatility, so much growth phases there, which brings uncertainty also, and definitely role of financial landscape will change, there's a time to put some thoughts that which comes in our mind also, that what will be the role of finance business models in 2030, how the role of CFO will change, what skills are required from our budding leaders to cope up in next 5 to 7 years, because at that time they will be somehow settled in their career and looking for the next hierarchies. So with this thought, today we have the esteemed dignitaries, so much intellectual capital that boardroom discussion was not ending, and I think today the same we are going to witness in the conclave also. So I will not take much time of yours. We all are we are eager to hear from you. So over to you people. I welcome you all again and looking for a very fruitful discussion. Thank you. And one more thing, I congratulate Professor Mishu and the entire finance department, team of students also, for finding out such an excellent topic and inviting such an excellent speakers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your insightful words. Without any further ado, we would like to introduce to you our esteemed keynote speakers for this discussion. We are honored to have Mr. Sandeep Mantri, the CFO and Executive Vice President of Datamatics, as one of our esteemed keynote speakers for this discussion. With over 20 years of experience in diverse industries such as media, manufacturing, digital technology, and professional consulting, Mr. Mantri brings a wealth of expertise in various areas, including accounting, corporate governance, fundraising, mergers and acquisitions, and strategy and financial planning, among others. Mr. Mantri has worked for renowned corporations such as Network 18, where he served as the Vice President of the Finance and Accounts Department, as well as the AVP in the Finance Web business. He was also the Manager of Finance and Accounts for Centel India and Chief of Finance for Centel Europe. We would like to express your gratitude for your presence here today. We are deeply honored. I would now like to request our director, Dr. Suchi Gautam, to felicitate our esteemed guest.
We are delighted to introduce our next keynote speaker for today, Ms. Pinky Kedia. With qualification including being a chartered accountant, holding an LLB, and a diploma in information systems audit, Ms. Kedia brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to the table. She has been a partner at Kedia Singhania and Company for nearly 2 decades and is also a member of the Western India Regional Council of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. In addition to this, she serves as the president of Lions Club of Mumbai Game Changer and the president of International Vaish Federation Women Wing. We are honored to have you with us, ma'am. Now, I would like to request our director, Dr. Suchi Gautam, to felicitate our esteemed guest. I would also like to request, ma'am, to felicitate our following dignitaries. Mr. V.N. Datta, advisor of Thakur Educational Group.
We would now like to invite Mr. Sandeep Mantri to share his insights on the theme for the conclave, that is, Navigating the Financial Landscape 2030 and Beyond.
Can you put that slide, please? Slideshow. Okay. It's okay. Thank you. Morning, everybody. Morning, morning. So, thank you very much for inviting me to be a keynote for this subject, which is navigating the financial landscape 2030 and beyond. It's quite interesting topic to my view. And hello.
So if you would like to have the hand mic.
Yeah. So it's quite interesting topic to my view. And in current market, uncertain market condition, how do you navigate, to the financial ecosystem in next 5 or 7 years is likely to be a challenge to my view because a lot of things are happening. Yesterday, I mean, a week back, we have seen an article in Forbes which talks about best banker in America, SV Silicon Valley Bank, and after 3 4 days, the bank collapsed. So these are the kind of world we are living in, and definitely times are, ahead times are challenging. But having said that, I think India's story is quite different. We are stronger than ever, and we are becoming stronger with each passing day. So while other economies are, having so much of turbulence in their ecosystem, but I think India is going to be a future of the world in next, 22 or 3 decades. And by I think 2047, the estimates are that we will be number one, number two in the world. Only China will be ahead of us, and US will be third. So, so our ecosystem is, enlarging. Our financial ecosystem is also, getting a lot of discipline. Earlier, we used to have a lot of, money in parallel economy, which is also now killing with a lot of online and digitization in the process. So let me start with this slide presentation. So first, let's understand what's the financial landscape, what it means for all of us, right? So anything which has to do with money coming in, money going out in the financial ecosystem is basically a financial landscape. It includes everything like market participant, regulators, investors, anybody who has a connection with your financial ecosystem is part of your financial landscape. So whether it is assets, opportunity, risk, businesses, all are, basically a part of the financial ecosystem. So what are we going to discuss today? Some of the key events in past and the factors which are going to affect in future. Very few. Then we will discuss some macroeconomics like GDP, how we are comparing with other economies, and GDP, cash flow, per capita, currency, inflation, government, all these things. Then we will discuss the the future strategy and tools, basically to navigate. How do we navigate the challenges, or how do we navigate the changing world in a better way, so that we become more and more efficient and better in time to come and successful in our career. Then I would want to discuss startups also in little bit in briefly, because that is the ecosystem which is changing the whole world. In fact, India is the second largest home to startup in terms of creation of a startup every year, and we are the third largest in the world now in terms of total startup, which are unicorn, right? And then we have this rupee. Will it be a global currency? Which is, there are many things which are happening in currency market, and rupee is becoming stronger as a currency for trade in the global market, which was not the case about a year or before. But now with Modi government pushing too much on digital currency and rupee, I think it will be a currency to watch, and it will be happening currency in global trade market also. Uh, okay, so these are the key events which has happened in last 3-4 years, and I believe these all events will have impact on our future financial ecosystem. The first one is demonetization. Many call it as a success, many call it as a failure, but to my view, it is a success because it helped in 2 or 3 ways. One, it blocked the terror funding in Kashmir. Second, it to some extent killed the parallel economy, which was cash economy, counterfeit notes, which we call. And second, it actually paralyzed our neighbor economy also, which we wanted. Right? So these three things primarily this demonetization did, and today we see how our neighbor is performing in terms of economic ecosystem. Right? They are almost on the verge of bankruptcy. Uh, Another thing which happened, and this is one of our lifetime event, COVID, last 2 or 3 years, we were quite uncertain times, and this was a threat, but eventually for many businesses, it turned out to be an opportunity. It taught us, how do we do business, how do we do work in a different way? Can we work from home? Which was not the case, at least in India earlier. While in other part, these things were prevailing, but in India, it was more, work from office. But with COVID, so many things, changed in our, and companies have, because companies, to get talent, these things are now predominant in the market, right? The third thing is Ukraine war, which is still going, and I think this is a regular phenomena for us now. It is not like an event because it is going on since last 2 years. So, but this war has many effects, right? If it turns out to be atomic, can it be, in future, it is a risky thing if it turns out to be atomic invasion. Or war will have its own rippling effect like inflation, interest rates, and all those, oil prices going up. All these things will definitely affect the future financial ecosystem. Another thing which is happening in last few years is impact investing. So more and more, fund houses are coming, which want to invest in the firms which are, responsible towards society. Are you a carbon, are you responsible toward this carbon net neutrality? Are you doing something for the society? All those things are also, part of the ecosystem or part of the evaluation process when an investor looks at investing in any company, startup. So this is very critical and important thing in today's world for all the businesses, that they have to, other than profit, they have to think for the society, they have to think for the other ecosystems, not only the organization, right? GST also changed, a lot, because when we started, it was a transitionary, it was very difficult initially, transitionary issue, but now we see, collections are increasing every month on month, GST collections. When we, in 2018, the collection was about 90,000 crores. Now it is 1,50,000 crore each month. So there is a significant increase. And this basically tells us that, this black economy or parallel economy is also, going down to some extent, right? Then this BJP becoming a power in the country is some kind of political stability, which is required, to basically to an economy to grow. So BJP with Ambani, Adani, we have seen rise and fall of, Adani, but again it is, going up. But can we create more entrepreneurs like, these people, so that we have more and more employment opportunities? Startup, I will talk about later. Then inflation is also a concern for many economies. While India is still under control, but if you see the western part, US, the inflations are never seen before, right? 8%, 9%, 10%, which is quite, challenging time for them. So these are the factors, I think, which affect your future financial landscape. Uh, First one is uncertainty, which is, prevailing in the market, prevailing in the financial ecosystem. And this is going to be increasing with each passing day, right? It is not going to come down. The uncertainty and risk, like I gave example of this Silicon Valley Bank. 3 days back, it was termed as best bank, and after 3 days, it collapsed all of a sudden. So these are the kind of uncertain world we are living, and we have to live with this. And we have to basically see how do we cope with these uncertainty or risk, right? Another thing which is very important for, for any business or any financial ecosystem is to do innovations. If you are not innovative company, you will die down one fine day, right? For sure. So you have to innovate in your processes, you have to innovate in your businesses, you have to see how do I deliver, more efficiently any particular services I am offering to market. Otherwise, there will be some competitor or some startup which will kill you. And this is happening many places. Like Nokia was one example. They could not, pace with the market, and eventually they died, right? Same thing happened with Kodak. We thought that these companies will stay forever, but there is nothing permanent in this world, right? Even the Moserware, which was a CD industry, CD company, it, it was one of my favorite when I was, a student in 1999, 2000. I thought this company will, change the, but after 2 or 3 years, I saw that the company died, right? So these are the, these are the things which are happening. Technology is one thing which anybody, all of us, we need to embrace. If you are not thinking technology, if you are not thinking innovation, navigating the financial ecosystem will be very difficult, I can tell you. And these things are changing. AI, blockchain, all these things, cloud, all these things are changing the ecosystem, the economic environment, the industrial environment, the business environment so much that you have to stay, ahead of the curve. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, you have to innovate, you have to think innovation, you have to think technology. These are the way, going forward. And the pace at which the disruptions are happening is really astonishing. So let's see some fact about India. I'll talk more about India rather than global, because I think India is one of the strongest economy in today's world. Can you next slide, please? So these are some of the metrics which I thought, will be important for you, that how, we are going further. So our GDP in 2012 was 1.8 trillion. Today it is 3.5 trillion. We are number 5 in the world. By 2007, we will be about 5+ trillion, 2027, and we will be number 3. Germany and Japan will be, 4th and 5th. We will surpass Germany and Japan. See our internet user penetration. This is because the whole world is going digital, and even India is going digital at a very faster speed. In in last 10 years, we have grown 6x from 140 million to 850 billion, 850 billion, sorry, in terms of internet user. And I think by 2027, 28, the estimates are that we will be about 1.3 billion internet population, which will be the highest in the world, in the universe. Um, Another is digital transaction, which is almost 4x from 6.2 trillion to 22 trillion in 10 years. And I think this 22 trillion will become 70, 80 trillion in next 5, 6 years. So the markets are like exploding and expanding as far as India's story is concerned. And I think we'll have a lot more opportunity in time to come in terms of financial services market, in terms of newer businesses, innovative businesses, all those. This is just a snapshot of Indian economy. I just took it from the economic survey. Our GDP growth is about 6.5%. Inflation is about 10% if you combine both WPI and CPI. Our services are growing at 9.1%. Industry is growing at 4%. Agriculture is also growing at 3.5%, which is a very good thing. Our exchange reserves are like 563 billion and always stable. Even in last 2-3 years when we had COVID, when we had this Russia-Ukraine war, and oil prices going up, still our reserves were intact. So the message is that we are in a strongest world as far as India's story is concerned. We are one of the strongest financial ecosystem in the world today, and it is going to be more stronger with each passing day. So these are just the GDP estimate that by 2027 we will be 5+ trillion economy, which means number 3. By 2047 we will be about 26 trillion economy, which means number 2 in the world. So in terms of our size, we will be almost 6 or 7 times of our size in 2000 when we hit 100 years of our independence. These are just statistics that where are we in terms of when we compare with some of the major economies, where are we in terms of our leverage. So our leverage is one of the lowest, is 149% compared to the US, which is about 275%. Korea, which is about 270, China is about 287%. So we have more to leverage. Still, we have capacity to invite funds to the market. Our population age is about 28 years, which is one of the best. And 60% of our population will be working by year 2030. 28 years of age is very good, and for such a large population, which is 1.5 billion. So this will really help us, in getting whatever we want in terms of our objectives. So this we talked about. We are third largest. We will be third largest stock market by 2030. We will be a global manufacturing hub. If the only challenge with the global manufacturing, becoming a global manufacturing hub is basically the ease of doing business, which government is slowly, putting more and more digital compliances, which will help in and more, one window type of clearing in many states they have implemented. And if ease of doing business is there, then I think nobody stops us, from becoming from shifting the base from China to India as a global manufacturing hub. And our rising affluent population, which is basically people having more than $12,000, $13,000 income, will be about 23, 24, 25%, 2x from the current level in next 3, 4, 5 years. So I will talk about investment, how investments are coming into India versus global VC funding. So global VC funding has increased from 58 billion in 2011 to 575 billion, which is 10x. While India has increased 17 times, which is 1.6 to 41 billion, and India has increased its share as well from 2.5% to 7% of the global VC fund. So every 100 rupees which is invested anywhere in the world, 7 rupees is coming to India. So, and earlier it was 2.5. Now, in last 5-7 years, 5-7 years, it has become 2.5 times. And India, in fact, overtook China in late stage funding, and now it has overtook China in early stage funding as well. So all the, we are number 2 behind US only in terms of our funding, which is coming to India. These are some of the funds which are investing into India or Southeast Asia market. Sequoia is one of the large player in VC funding, and they have last fund was 1.35 billion. Now they are about 3 billion for this market. Same way, Matrix is 300 to 450 million. So overall, if you see, 2.9 billion has become 5.1 billion for this market they have allocated, which is 2 times increase, from the last fund, which is very good. More and more investments, if come into India and Southeast Asia, this is a good story. So normally when a VC or a private equity, when they invest, what exactly they look at? So these are the couple of things which I thought I should put. That these private equity or VC looks at first and foremost is innovation. Is your business innovative, right? Can you solve the problem in a different way, more efficient way, which is how is currently being handled. So if you are innovative, you will always command a premium. If you are a commodity or plain vanilla, then no venture capital will put money in you. Same way, do you have a tech advantage and AI and scalability? So if you have a good technology behind your business model, which can be scaled with a lot of AI in it, with a lot of customer insight in it, they will pay you a far more premium than your competition. Are you thinking other than as I told earlier also, are you thinking towards society? Are you thinking toward environment? Are you thinking these are the critical factors? In fact, 1/3 of the world global VC fund looks at these kind of investment. Inclusion ecosystem. How can you include more and more, your customer base? How can you include more and more people into your customer base? Can you make your ecosystem larger and bigger and bigger? Then you get more money. Pace of execution. Can you really speed your business model? Can you really accelerate your business model in shorter time? That will help getting more money. And ultimately, will you make profit? Will you make cash flow for the business? That is what they will see. And if opportunity arises, you should see if there are good startup. I think you should invest at an early stage. While it may be 1 out of 100 startup will succeed, but even that one will create you 1,000 time returns. So this is the same data, but in a different format. What is macro environment? A lot of technologies are coming, which is AI, blockchain. Day before yesterday, GPT-4 was launched. I'm sure you all are looking at it. Your responsibility to society, regulations, all these things affect your business, and then you create value when you flow your data, keeping your customer at the center, right? Customer at the center, front and back. Only think about customer when you're thinking of business. Then your business will always be successful. Then work and workplace. You need to think to motivate, to retain your employee, you retain your talent. So you have to think about workplace innovations as well. Can you work from home? Can you work from partially from home, or gone are the days when you need to call people every day to workplace. So these innovations are happening. Then value capture is basically if you are delighting your customer, then you are capturing the value in your financial ecosystem. And platforms are the way to go, right? So more and more platform-driven sales are becoming imminent now. So this is a cycle, which is basically you need to take care of macro environment, you need to create value, and then you need to capture that value. So this is a cycle by which you create a successful business. Then these were some of the companies. So India, as I said, India is one of the largest provider of unicorn in the world now. It is second, in fact, next to US. We have about 125 unicorns. Unicorns means the companies which are having valuation of $1 billion or more, right? So these are all tech-based companies, right? Their basically business model is tech-driven, platform-driven. Car trade, as an example, is basically platform-driven car sale. You see this fresh work, it is basically CRM type. You see this rate gain. Rate gain is a company which helped, for this travel. They are basically for travel and hospitality industry. They helped, generating more and more revenue for their customer, which is a travel agent, which is a travel broker or whatever, by navigating the customer intent to revenue realization. So they will start looking at you when you have an intent, or let's say you searched for a particular holiday or particular destination. They will start mapping your journey and tell the customer that you can approach these people and you can get more and more revenue, right? So these are some of the very good companies which have, in last 2-3 years have come up with IPOs. Some of these are more than $1 billion. Some of these are in $200-300 million. Some of and the next 12 to 18 months, these are the startups which are, coming as far as IPO market is concerned in India. So this is, okay. So this is basically, a startup is also an ecosystem which is creating more and more startups. Like Flipkart, as an example, have created, the leadership of Flipkart have created almost 165 businesses post Flipkart. And this is happening in many of such startups. The leadership of those startups, are creating more and more businesses in the country. M&A market is also getting diverse and bigger in India even. Earlier it used to be funding coming from US only. Now many of the Indian startups, are putting money in the respective, relevant startup which is, doing business in India. Like Baiju acquired Akash, PharmEasy acquired Thyrocare. All these Indian startups which are investing in Indian startups. So there is a lot, scope is increasing as far as financial markets and investors are concerned. And you see, all these tech-based companies are far bigger than their, traditional counterpart. Like urban companies bigger than Lakme Saloon or L'Oreal in terms of reach to customer. Lenskart is bigger than the traditional companies Titan I Plus or Vision Express in terms of their reach to customer. Cars 24 Spinny is far bigger than First Choice because they offer the services through a platform, not through brick and mortar model. Same with Blue Dart versus Delivery and Express B. So more and more technology, because technology is scalable, and more technology and innovation you embrace, your business is becoming bigger and bigger. And this is the world we are going to be in, right? Brick and mortar will slowly, go down, and these tech platform-based businesses will flourish. I will skip this because So in summary, I think we are at a right place, right time, and right opportunity for us. It is only for us, to capture that opportunity. It is only for us to see how we can, innovate, how we can use technology to in our businesses, in whatever we are doing, and make the ecosystem bigger and larger. So with this, I think I will sum up this way that India is the strongest economy than ever, and is going to be stronger. And I think by the time we attain 100 years of our independence, we will be one of the largest economy in terms of purchase price, real terms. May not be in terms of the notional terms, but in real terms, we will be largest economy. We have a base of age base of 28 years. Most of our population average age is 28 years, which is very good for us. And in fact, we have all the advantage. It is for us to take advantage of these strengths which we have in our economy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights. We would now like to extend our invitation to Ms. Pinky Kedia to share her insights and experiences on the theme. Ma'am, would you like to have a caller mic or hand mic? Sorry? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
क्योंकि जिस तरह से टेक्नोलॉजी में इनोवेशन हो रहे हैं, टेक्नोलॉजी आगे बढ़ रही है, it's very difficult to learn AI and MI after the age of 70. So you are young people, you can learn this. I will suggest you in finance. You are the finance students, but you should learn basic things about AI, MI, and machine language also. Because in CA course also we had included this part, and we are doing a workshop on Python, BI, MI, all these machine language in our courses also. So it is a key point for every industry now. You have to learn. And staying regulatory compliant, if anything if any industry will increase or any economy will increase, regulatory compliance will be there. So and there are so much regulatory compliance, you can't imagine. In India, basically. आपको पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल लेना है, आपको कितने लोगों से आपको परमिशन लेने हैं, सर्टिफिकेट्स लेने हैं, हर महीने की आपको रिपोर्ट सबमिट करनी है. So there are so many regulatory compliant, and that is the risk and challenge to comply all the regulatory compliant. Okay, so it is a risk and challenge in finance sector. So the finance service sector is rapidly evolving. The trends outlined above will only accelerate the evolutions, dramatically redefining the industry. Over the next 12 months, the pace of change is so quick that financial organizations cannot afford to fail behind, even for a moment. So opportunity is you can do these. This is only the few examples what you can do in the finance field. This is only few examples. You can go more than that. Okay. So finance industry is a vast and dynamic field with many opportunity. And in India, government is also looking in this sector right now, and they come with many, you can say many incentive, and India's financial service industry has experienced huge growth in the past few years. The momentum is expected to continue. India's private wealth industry shows huge potential. This will indeed lead India to be the future fourth largest private wealth market globally by 2023. And India, 28 you can say, India's insurance market is also accepted to grow very fast, and the PE equity is also involving. The relaxation of foreign investment in India. Right now they had relaxed foreign investment in India by the government. So it increased the FDI in India, and it's a very good sign for growth in finance sector. So, if there is a growth in every sector like insurance, banking, and other finance sector, so naturally opportunity will be more. But you have to be more innovative, more techno-savvy, more creative, and you have to be part of that. You have to keep yourself with the trend. Then you can you can get ample opportunity in the area of finance. So it's in summarized way, I can say that there are huge opportunity in finance market in next years. And we will be, I think, second largest or first largest. If we can be first largest country in the world, I hope so, with you all. So now a foreign company is investing in India. Earlier we used to invest in a foreign country. Now foreign country are coming to India and investing in India, like a gift city also gave by the government to like export and all these things. Yeah. So there are many incentive government is planning and giving to increase the finance sector, because it's relate to our economy of India. So I think there is a better opportunity, and you all can do better. And all the best to you for your future endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable insights and lessons. We would now like to initiate a quick question and answer session with our keynote speakers. Yes, ma'am. Please come over there. Okay, no problem. Please, ma'am. So there's a slight change. We will be doing the question and answer session afterwards.
Extend our heartfelt gratitude to our keynote. Sorry. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to our keynotes. Sorry. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to our keynote speakers for sharing their valuable insights with us.
Thank you, sir and ma'am, for taking this opportunity to share with us your wisdom and insights. Now, moving forward, let us extend a warm welcome to our esteemed panelists for today. It is my pleasure to introduce our first panelist, Mr. Shailesh Kumar. Sir is the Senior Executive Vice President and National Business Head of Kotak Securities Limited. With over 20 years of experience in capital markets across various roles, he started his career as an executive in Stock Holding Corporation of India and has been with the Kotak Securities Limited for close to 2 decades. Sir has worked for ILNFS and MetLife. With a diverse background in digital transformation, customer acquisition and retention, channel business management, risk management, compliance, system and process development, he is currently working with senior leadership teams of multiple private and public sector banks. Mr. Kumar has completed a senior management program from IIM Ahmedabad, an accelerated sales force performance program from ISB, and holds a CISC and CFA certification. We are honored to have you with us, sir. Now, I would like to request our director, Dr. Suchi Gautam, to felicitate our esteemed guest. A huge round of applause for our panelist.
We are pleased to welcome our next esteemed panelist, Ms. Kalyani Hendre, the CFO of Infigo Life Sciences Private Limited. With over 20 years of experience in both the human resources and finance domain, Ms. Hendre started her career as an accounts and HR executive in Boston Scientific Corporation, followed by a managerial position in finance, HR, and administration at Boehringer Ingelheim India Private Limited. She was the head of finance, HR, and administration at Finorian Pharma India Private Limited and also served as the CFO of Kamal Motors, part of the Ale Singhani Group. Ms. Hendre is a certified finance expert from Frankfurt School of Finance and Management and has also completed advanced certification programs in wealth management, financial planning and services, and strategic financial management from Narsi Monji Institute of Management Studies. We are honored to have you with us, ma'am. I would now like to request our director, Dr. Suchi Gautam, to felicitate our guest.
It is my pleasure to introduce our esteemed moderator for this panel discussion. Sorry. It is my pleasure to introduce our esteemed moderator for this panel discussion, Mr. Ajit Singh. With over 25 years of experience, Mr. Singh has honed his expertise in various areas such as business process reengineering, cost reduction, internal control and financial reporting. He has held senior positions at well-renowned firms such as KPMG, Deloitte, Sidar Management Consultancy, PwC, and ECS Private Limited. Currently, Sir serves as the Director of Finance at Grant Thornton Bharat LLP. Sir has completed his MBA in Finance from Narsi Monji Institute of Management Studies. We are honored to have you with us, sir. Now, I would like to request our Head of Finance, Ms. Mishu Tripathi, to felicitate our esteemed guest.
Today we were looking forward to having Mr. Shailesh Dhuri, CEO of Decimal Point Analytics, as a part of our event. However, we regret to inform you that he couldn't join us today due to some unforeseen circumstances.
On behalf of our institute, we extend a warm welcome to all our panelists and our moderator. Let's give them a huge round of applause. Moving forward, we would now like to invite Mr. Shailesh Kumar to share his valuable insights on the theme with us. Sir, over to you. Sure, sir.
Hello, it's working. Can I use this place? So, thank you. In fact, I'm more excited to be part of this event because it's an opportunity to be with so many emerging leaders. Just to know how many of people are on LinkedIn. Oh, large. But I saw very few people who liked the event which was happening now. So I was just trying to follow how many people are liking the event. So you are there, but please like the event of your college. So I don't know how many of you have read that, what I wrote there. And I wrote there is that 85% of the job which current learner will do in 2030 has not been invented. How many of you agree, not agree? So when the hands are down, it's agree, and hands are up, it is agree. I don't know. So how many of you agree? Please raise your hand. So last percent of people still feel that a lot may not change in 2030. Is that a right assessment? Only few people said that it will change. A lot of people are saying it will not change. We may debate on the accuracy of this survey, and this survey was done by Dell in US. But I tell you, there cannot be any disconnect that with changing landscape, what we are doing currently is going to transform dramatically. And let me give you an example to postulate my theory. If I take you back a little bit in 2006 or 7, the mode of communication was SMS. And anybody who was the biggest player at that point of time? Service providers. So if you look at globally, it was AT&T, Verizon, Airtel. These were the biggest telecom giants. And at the same time, there was something happening on the internet platform, Google and the Microsoft. And what happened in 2006 is that at that point of a time, SMS was about 20 billion SMSs per day. Suddenly, a Ukrainian migrant who came to US developed something called WhatsApp. In 2006, WhatsApp was also equal to about 20 billion messages per day. Fast forward 2023. Any guess what is? So what is the number of SMSs or the number of WhatsApp on a daily basis? गलत guess करने के लिए कुछ मैं देने वाला नहीं हूँ, so you can keep guessing it. So the number which says is that the SMSs only improved. And all these A&T and Verizon, they thought that they want to be senior. So they tried working on MMSs, if you have known about it. Now in 2023, the fast forward, the number of SMS is only 26 billion per day. So 20 billion became 26 billion. And the WhatsApp messages has become 20 billion to 100 billion WhatsApp messages per day. What does this mean? This gives us two things. One is that AT&T, Verizon, Microsoft, Google, they had the best of the brain in the industry. They had the best of the resources. But who did the disruption? Somebody from the Ukraine coming and doing the disruption. So now the disruptions which will happen now from here to 2030 and beyond will not happen from an incumbent, will not happen from where you feel this is going to disrupt the market. Second is that, and which this is good, that we should know that winner takes it all. Now, you will not have a 20, 30 players in any industry. You will have 2, 3 players in any industry. So in this kind of dynamic environment, if I'm at your place, what I will do? And I remember, I think some of the theory which were taught to us 20 years back in colleges is still valid. So I was equally curious and I asked my professor, sir, क्या करेंगे तो नौकरी हमेशा रहेगी? And he said, take the management institute or the institutes like a driving institute. I'm going to teach you how to ride a scooter. Now, whether you become a Formula 1 driver, you become a car driver, is totally on you. So what management institutes will do is that to make you a driver. And that's what I'm trying to come out, is that going forward, the knowledge which you're gaining now will have a lesser premium than the knowledge which you keep on acquiring it. So please move on to a direction that acquiring knowledge is a continuous process. There's no premium that I passed out from IIT, IIM, and I will be there all the time. So this was the message. I have 5 minutes, 10 minutes? So and similar to you, there was always some curiosity that how to plan your career. And when you are in those days, what should I do? How to plan 5 years? How to plan 10 years? How to plan 20 years? I never planned. And I have seen that people who do a lot of planning have never succeeded also, because things are very dynamic. I started my career, I did my CFA. I started my career with the Stock Holding Corporation of India, a PSU, because my father wanted to be in a PSU. So I started there. I worked there for a year, and I thought, this is the damn bloody place. You will not survive. Kaam hi nahi hai wahan. Then I moved to ILFS. The scam happened, Ketan Park scam happened, and suddenly thought, yeah, stock market is too risky. Then insurance was coming, and he said, this is the one industry which is there for a long time. I joined insurance. I joined there as a head of the services. Then came back to stock market again in the Kotak Securities, because stock market has such a pull. But what I kept doing on is that I joined Kotak Security as head of the risk and ops. After 8, 9 years, I went to my CEO and said, I have done enough. I want to do different. I said, what do you want to do? I want to do sales. I want to do business. I said, let's try. So the message which I want to say is that, and I was telling ma'am also, is that aap pooch rahe ho 20, 30 and beyond. I don't know what will happen after 2 years. Just given a last example before I conclude is that I work for a broking industry, so I think that example makes me, that is more relevant and more grounded. And how many of you have broking account? Okay. All finance? What? सब लोग invest तो करते हैं ना. Because time has gone when my father used to tell, please earn and save. Now the time is that, please earn and invest. Time has changed. So if you look at what has happened in, and this all I am trying to put forward a point is the speed and the magnitude of change. Look at broking industries in 2016. Who were the bigger players in 2016? Angel was there. But I think that at that point of time, the biggest brokers were the Kotak Securities, ICICI, HDFC. So these were considered as the banker brokers. Then you have those Sher Khan, Edelweiss, and all that, which was independent brokers. And there was, discount broker was just coming up. So in 2016, if you look at the data, the business or the market shares of the discount broker all clubbed together, the 20 top discount broker used to have only 10% market share in 2016. 2016 ending March. Banker brokers like Kotak Securities, ICICI, HDFC, Axis, Sher Khan at that point of time, BNP Paribas was there, was close to about 35-40%. So these two becomes 50%. Other Sher Khan, Edel, Angel, they used to make about 30%. So it's become 80%, and the balance others were the 20%. Fast forward 2023. You know who is the market leader? Zerodha. And everybody knows it. There is no confusion that Zerodha is not a market leader. Who is the number 2? Upstock is the number 2. So what has happened is that now the top 5, forget about those top 20 discount brokers, the top 5 brokers have 70% of the market share. And we used to laugh at these discount brokers. Ye paisa hi nahi banayenge to how they will survive? But what, it is interesting that what we missed and what they found. So now the 70% is done by them, and बाकी सारी दुनिया 30% में आ गई है. And ये 30% भी ना, पता नहीं 2-3 साल में खत्म हो जाएगा. I'm becoming a little more pessimist, but I tell you what we missed and what discount broker found out. They found out that the number of millennials which is coming to India is about 50 to 20 millions of millennials are getting added every year in Indian population. And this rate will be there for next 10 years. So next 10 years, there will be a millennials close to 15 to 20 millions getting added every year. Number 2, you know what is the per customer uses of internet in 2006, 2007? It was about 3 GB. And what was the cost of 1 GB data at that point of time? It was 300 odd rupees, 259 to 69 rupees. Fast forward now, what is the number of, what is the data being used per person today? And what is the rate? It's close to 300 GB data being used by the per person today on average, and at the cost of rupees 10. So now the 1 GB data costs you 10 rupees. Look at the mobile penetration we have. We have 1.2 billion people using mobile. India is fortunate that they never moved from internet to desktop. They directly moved from internet to mobile. Look at, he was showing that the number of internet users is about 850 million internet user. So this is what the discount broker looked at, and this is what the incumbent didn't look at. Incumbent were happy with the smaller set of customers, revenue coming from there. These fintechs will look at the population which is not served. They will make the platform which is cheaper, and they will go to the masses. So the moral of the story is that the rate of speed of change, the magnitude, we all know this AI will come, we'll know cloud compounding will come, machine learning will come. We all are worried. What will AI and ML will do? AI and ML will do is that they will remove all the repetitious work. All the routine work, all the mundane work will go away. There will not be a data entry operator. There will not be, I think the biggest place it will hit is operation, finance, health, all this will get changed. But what is the positive side? The positive side is that the people, we all are learning so much, not to do the mundane job, not to do the job which is repetitious, not to do a job which doesn't apply our brain and the knowledge. What will happen is that these small or the low-level jobs will move away, and you all will do the quality job. The job which will require your intelligence, job which will make you happy, job which will make you satisfied. Hence, you all will be more happy a lot, more satisfied a lot, and you will grow more. So all these fintechs, all these changes, all these tech-related changes will change the landscape, but at the same time, will create enormous, enormous opportunity. Just to draw a parallel in 2000, Y2K, we all were afraid that if the computers come, so what will happen? सारे job चले जाएंगे, because हर कुछ machine ही कर देगा. We are equally worried when the chat GPT comes. अरे ये सारा काम तो यही कर देगा. But you can't take away the human touch. So I think that's the time that change, constantly learn. What ma'am was saying is that you also start learning, though you may be a finance professional, you start learning about the AI, you start learning about the ML, you start learning the languages. But I can tell you, I'm very sure we will have more better jobs, more interesting job, and larger opportunity by 2030. So wish you all the best. But I think the premium is more on keep learning on a regular basis. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable wisdom with us. Now, we would like to invite Ms. Kalyani Hendre to share her valuable insights on the theme of our conclave. A huge round of applause for ma'am.
Thank you. Morning, everyone.
Morning, ma'am.
I'm a professor now. No. Here we have actually have heard a lot from Mr. Mantri, Ms. Pinky, and Himad Mr. Shelly. So then the most important thing is human touch. Again, when we have the topic saying that is there a threat of bringing AI digitalization for our finance people? So then I would say no, we do not have any threat. Only thing what you have to do is you have to keep your base, that is your foundation, strong, and no volatility will shake you off from your ground. The day you will only look on the top line and not look what exactly the flow is from the ground, then it will be difficult for you to sustain in this volatile world. So keep that in mind, because now we have this financial modeling and financial planning and analysis, which is becoming more robust for the company to see how their numbers are working. So here again, you have to know the basis, your accounting. If you know your accounting, that flow is from accounting to finance and then your numbers which you are going to get. But then from where you are getting these numbers is very important. Otherwise, you will not be able to understand.
Because this is our generation. I think we have been only working right from ground, and as they have introduced me, I've started as an accounts assistant position and reached here as a CFO, is definitely you need to keep your strong base. So now looking into the digitalization. Digitalization is not at all a threat. As he mentioned, human touch is very important in all the areas of our work. So starting from a small scale industry to a multinational, I had been working with top 15 global multinational companies, that is Boston Scientific, Boehringer Ingelheim, Finorian Pharma, that is Orion Pharmaceutical in Finland. So if you will see, I have seen more of digitalization there in multinationals than we compare it to the Indian companies. We are now moving ahead with a very fast pace. But still, it is difficult to adapt. And adapt in the sense, adapt the technology, to bring in more technology because of all our regulations, which was manual or paperwork. So looking at these digitalization in 2000, rather I would say 2000, yes, 99 somewhere, Orkut also started. So this is time, and then at that time email started. We did not know anything called Google. I started my career before globalization when Tally was just started, and parallel run of maintaining the books manually and in Tally. So this is how we started our career. And there is, that time we were really scared, will we be able to sustain here? And there were no computer courses. I would say there were, yeah, we did after graduation, I did a computer course, but that didn't give us full-fledged information how to work on the systems. So we have grown a lot. No phone to iPhone in hand. So this is how digitalization, but you have to walk through all these changes. If you do not change yourself, if you do not walk along with these changes, then it will be difficult again to sustain. So the most important again here is, how are you going to handle these changes? Keep learning. It is not that now you have completed your post-graduation or your master's, then you stop learning. No, you have to keep learning to keep yourself in the market. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done at the age of 48 certified financial course. So this I completed in 2020 at the age of 48. So I'm not saying this just to that, but to understand why we have to keep ourselves in the market. It is to sustain. Otherwise, you will be thrown out of here. So learning, keeping yourself aware, not to be only focused to one particular area. See to it when you are entering into an organization. For me, yes, because it was a multinational and we had transfer pricing, I had to understand each and every department, the scope of work and the agreement and all those things. But otherwise also you should know, learn what all other departments are doing and what is the learning there. Because that every finance person has to understand what is the entire organization doing and not only what the finance function is doing. Then only you will be able to give justice to your work, and your numbers, your analysis will be helpful to the company. I think anything else which you all want to understand? Yeah, we can do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your wisdom and insights on this topic. We would like to now invite Mr. Ajit Singh to share his insights on the theme and take the discussion forward with the panelists.
Hello, am I audible? Okay, great. No, I think I'll manage. Basically, a theme today would be financial landscape and the way financial services has evolved. And going back to the discussion that Kalyani ma'am talked about how generations have evolved, I can go back to my previous generation with my parents. Computers, PC, etc., was not known to them. Then came our generation, where when we started, Madam talked about manual accounting, and people sitting in the front row can relate to this, where Y2K, 1995, economy opening, jobs not available at all, people struggling for jobs way back in 90s, 95 is the initial part of 90s. From there, we moved on to millennials who started, there was a Y2K boom, there were a lot of technology company, a lot of digital interventions coming, etc. And then that's when the technology kind of took over, and some of the manual operations, some of the manual activities, the way it used to happen, got transformed. Parallelly, same time, there was a next generation being developed. So what we ultimately came up to was one set of generation who were not exposed to digital revolution or the digital change. Second is our set of generation who has seen a lot of technological change and who have been part of the journey in our own ways and means. We have maybe contributed also to achieve where we are as an entire, the digital transformation, the digital roadmap that we have. Now we are at a stage where we have completely digital native generation who's actually kind of grooming themselves, coming up to speed, coming up to pace, without exposure to any of the manual intervention, without exposure to any of the manual data. They are actually completely digital native, and going forward, the generations that will come through uh, will definitely be the generation which will embrace and enhance the technological capabilities that we jointly together multiple generations have created. So with this note, I'll just start the panel discussion on the sorry.
Your question answers are still due, so yeah.
Yeah.
We can have one more chair here and
Yeah, we can set up some more chairs.
come, Sandeep.
I'm just a silent spectator.
We will not let you.
We'll not
Ajit
even.
will not let you.
Yes.
And Chaudhary ma'am, you can also come.
Yeah.
So we would kind of want to structure the discussions across two broad themes. One was across the digital disruption that the country has seen across in the financial services space over the last few years. Second was around the core finance, accounting, operations, back-end function that companies are doing, the way they are processing, the way they are coming up with the various transactions, etc. What are the innovations that the back-end function has been seen and witnessed over the last few years? So I'll start off the panel by asking a few questions to the students out here. And a raise of hand would be helpful so that we could gauge the sentiment of the people out here. How many of you have bank accounts? Almost 100%. How many of you use a third-party mobile app, GPay, Paytm, etc., for transacting and payment?
Everybody.
Everybody. Now, amongst this generation, how many have used mobile apps and internet banking over the last 3 months frequently? So now the percentage has reduced to maybe 5 or 10% of the entire audience. So what it signifies? It signifies the fact that third parties and the partnership between third parties and banking is the next thing which the next generation is asking. They are not looking at banking only with the regular bank. They are ready to partner with any other player who can give them convenience, who can give them speed, who can give them a lot of other service offerings apart from the normal banking. So therefore, the first question that I would have, and I'll request Mr. Kumar to take it up, would be uh, what is the future looking like for banking, and what are the next challenges, and what is it that the sector needs to take care of, given the kind of requirement that we have now?
I think three things which look at the macro level is very important for the existing financial services player. One is being resilient. We need to be resilient. Second is to survive in the rising challenges from the fintech. And third is to meet the expectations of the customer, expectation as well as the trust of the customer. I think these are the three pillars. I know we may talk about the digitals, like I was saying that AI impact, ML impact, cloud computing impact, cyber security. But overall, which we know a lot of banks failing, I think the resilience is becoming the most important. The resilience can mean you have to survive to serve, whether it is asset liability mismanagement, whether it is cyber threat, whether it is large amount of data. Now everybody is talking about big data, big data, big data. I think the big data is coming, but you need to know how to utilize that big data. Big data will come with cyber security threat, storage issues. As well, the big data is actually a fuel. How much well you refine it, you will be able to use it well. So just having a large amount of data, not able to refine it well, may lead to a different kind of a problem. So being resilient is one. Second, I'm saying is that the challenges which are being posted by these fintech companies. And I tell you, look at the ability or expertise of tech giants, whether it is Google, whether it is Microsoft, whether it is GPay, their ability to create a platform, the UI, UX created by them, will be far, far superior than any bankers who can do it. I tell you, most of the brilliant of the IT guys, they don't join bank. Because why will they join bank? They will join an IT company where they can actually explore their talent. Or they join a fintech. So the challenge will always be there with these financial companies is to how to match these kind of innovations, these kind of disruptions, these kind of cost-cutting places where banks are not willing to go, they are going. So I think that's another. Third is that after all, financial services is money and trust. And as we were discussing, saying that 3 days ago, a bank gets that he's the best bank in the US and he collapses. And it's not that there is a fraud which an employee has done or something has happened. But I tell you, that kind of a trust is that if a people is putting a money to you, you will be able to return money to them when they need it. I think these are the three big challenges which financial services industry has to cope with it.
Sure. Also, we talked about the youth bulge in India. We talked about the demographic dividend in India. How prepared are we as a financial services sector to cater to the needs of the new generation which will come up? And we can relate back to the fact you talked about discount brokerage taking over the traditional this thing. But on the product design perspective, what are the new products, new innovative products that the banking and the securities or the mutual fund sector should look at, which will excite the new generation who's coming up?
As Pinky ma'am was saying that आवश्यकता है आविष्कार की जर्नी, that was said. I tell you, with the millennials coming into this market, and the size is just huge in India. The gap which is being created by the banks or the financial companies, I tell you, as a broker, couple of years back, it was impossible to open a branch in or for a bank in every nook and corner of the country. Because cost doesn't permit. Earlier, if you want to have some services, there used to be an RM who used to give you a service. You need to have a particular network to get the service. Now, what these fintechs are doing it, that they know that these are rising populations. These populations are young, very aspirant population. If they can be made available, and they are very digital natives. They're very tech savvy. If the things are made available to them at a cheaper cost, they can actually be far bigger than, so there's something called 20% business, 80% business comes from the 20% of the customer. Sunil, that's how we see 20, 80 things. So this is a story of a long tail. If a large millennial populations are being touched, I think it can done wonders. So similarly, if you look at that, what has happened in broking industry or the banking industry, look at UPI transaction. I spoke about UPI transaction. Is UPI transactions, bank always thought that any transfer of money is their domain. किसी को भी पैसा लेना है देना है तो बैंक तो आएगा ही. They were totally got caught in that 90% of UPI transactions. 90% of the UPI transaction doesn't happen through the banks. It happens through the GPay and the PhonePe, and very small amount through the Paytm. And bank were really caught unaware. Now, what is the impact of this? Is that I have, and most of you will have a bank. आप वहाँ पे पैसा डालते हो, but most of the transaction happens, you don't go to the bank website. You go to the GPay, you go to the Paytm, and you do the transaction. What is the disadvantage? Bank's ability to cross-sell has become zilch. If I am not going to the bank branch, if I'm not going to the bank website, if I'm not going to the mobile app of the bank, how they will cross-sell? Digital marketing, but how many people read the mails? So what has happened is that these GPays and the PhonePe or the Paytms now attracting most of the people for these transactions, and they are leveraging this for cross-sell. Now they are cross-selling credit cards, they are cross-selling fixed deposit, now they're cross-selling insurance, now they're cross-selling FASTag. So what has happened is that actually it is creating a whole lot. So bank is just becoming, doing a dirty job of opening an account and keeping the money. Rest all transaction is done on the fintech. So though the bank or the brokers are not up to the mark, the fintechs will fill that gap and will give that services to the generations.
So essentially what we are saying that this generation will kind of do self-research. They'll identify, understand what is their needs. Does this also mean that some of the distribution channels that the financial services sector has been using, brokerage has been using, insurance has been using, there are a lot of IFAs for mutual funds, etc., who are earning their livelihood basis, the commissions, etc. What is it that this distribution channel will hold in the future to come with the kind of financial literacy being entrenched into the next generation? We also managed to penetrate into some of the underbanked or unbanked sectors and geographies, etc. What will be the role of distribution channels for the sector as a whole? If yes, we could take, and then I can get to budget questions, etc., which I'll refer to.
Can you give you a classic example? I have been using iPhone for a couple of years now, so probably I'm giving example of the iPhone. I don't know about other phones, but I have been using iPhone for a couple of years, and iPhone never gave me a user manual. They never gave me the user manual. I don't know whether the new phone comes with a user manual or not, because that is the that is what I want to tell you, is that the new generation is so sharp, and the fintechs are making the UI UX so simple, then this generation doesn't need any training for investment in mutual fund, for investment in stock market. They are so tech savvy that probably they will get trained themselves on the YouTube, on the WhatsApp, the research being provided online. I'm saying that's the huge shift. So this generation doesn't need hand-holding of note पढ़ लो उसके बाद क्या होता है. Now coming back to the intermediaries, I am a very strong believer that any developed financial economy doesn't have intermediary. Intermediary will just get wiped out. Because intermediary, the moment you increase the touch point, it increases the inconvenience and it increases the cost. So if you have an intermediary, it will have an inconvenience because intermediary will have his own processes, challenges, and intermediary has to survive, it has to cut, it will be a cost. Look at what Zerodha has done and what Kotak Securities, for example, does. We used to open branches, we used to have feet on a street. Feet on a street used to go and sell to, now if the feet on the street has to go and sell, I have to give a commissions. If I have to have a franchisee, I have to give a commissions to them. What Zerodha did is that they know that the entire population is digital native. They are very sharp. They didn't thought of, we were working on our websites, internet websites. They never bothered to work on internet websites because they knew that the entire thing has moved on the mobile. So their entire processes were mobile front. So what they did is that they reduced the, I tell you, when we used to open a bank account or we used to open a trading account, we used to sign 30, 40 signatures. With the advent of Aadhaar, now you can open an account in 15 minutes, whether it's a bank account or trading account. So the fintech leveraged the technology of Aadhaar, make UI UX better, and said, okay, you open an account, I will give you 100 rupees. But you open an account and trade yourself. And this has led to, in broking, it has completely wiped out of the intermediaries. We have all this, take the case of mutual funds. Mutual fund, we used to earlier have to have an agent who used to come and say, sir, aap ye kharid lo, and wo bhi wahi bolta tha, jisme se zyada commission milta tha. Now we have all the platform which are zero charges. You just go to the platform has a URL. They, in fact, create a persona that if you are a 30-year-old, these are your requirements, what kind of your investment should be. Correct. You don't need RM to tell you, and probably RMs are more biased. They have their own interest in play. So all these fintechs, all these disruptions will remove the intermediation for sure. It will become, our strong belief is that whether it is a banking, whether it is a insurance, whether it is broking, fast forward, you will have 4 or 5 big players. We are in the telecom or probably in the airlines mode. Telecom, if you remember, 10 years back, there was plenty of telecom players came. Finally, we have survived with Airtel and Jio. That's the only 2. I know other is just languishing. If you look at airlines, we had a huge, large number of airlines players. Now we are restricted to 1 or 2 or 3 max. This will happen to the financial services as well. So disintermediation will go away, price will come down, and very few players will survive.
Just thinking aloud, and this is just a extempore discussion.
Maybe little bold in my views, but
which is why next question of mine, and this is in favor of the distribution channel, just in case. Do you think they could go to the government?
My company will also say, I'm paying you, and you are saying we will not survive.
It's okay. Just a question, a thought which came to my mind as you were speaking. Do you think aggregation of services or aggregation of multiple players by the distribution channels, where they start, maybe Policy Bazaar is one such example, or some of the other websites, where they start comparing the various codes of the OEMs and give it to the customers, at least they can get into that kind of area where they actually start aggregating the products, the services, and then give and make a customized value proposition for the for the end customer, for the next generation, so that they could look at it, review it, so that they can remain relevant and they continue to survive and thrive with the next wave of growth that the FS sector is going to see. Just a thought. I was just.
I think that's
to
the
my
way
mind.
forward.
That's the way
But
forward
my
for this
strong
nation.
belief is that such things being done by an incumbent will be very difficult. I'm a very strong believer that the platform which a technology company can create cannot be created by a bank or a broker. So you will, though, or the biggest, I can tell you something internally which we discuss. We also want to become a discount broker.
Yes.
If
What
Zerodha wants
stops
to
you?
become, we also want to become a discount broker.
Yes.
We also do a lot of brainstorming. And what? You have to just copy, paste. You don't have to do, yeah. But the moment you, I don't know whether my company allows me to say all these things or not, but the moment you want to do that, you immediately think the cannibalization of revenue which will happen to your existing customer. If you want to become a discount broker, okay, you already have 1,000 crore PAT, and you are charging some differential brokerage out of them, and say, tomorrow I will start charging 10 rupees. If you calculate on this 1,000 crore will become 100 crore. This is sure this will become 100 crore. Whether you will make this 900 crore here or not is something. So that's the dilemma of the incumbent. Is that the cannibalization of existing business is what is preventing them to dramatically shift to the discount or the new technology. You are right that aggregator of the services, platform is the way forward. That will happen, but I have a doubt that it will be done by the incumbent. It will be done by a technology firm.
New player who will.
A technology firm.
I would want to get Kalyani ma'am in the discussions now. And I would just look at the current year budget and the kind of thrust that the government has been putting on financial services sector as a whole, the initiatives around digital payment, the initiative around your digital KYC, the initiative around a single moment of truth, all the documents being digitized, etc., etc. Still, there is a feeling amongst the industry players where they say that at times the regulation and the framework that the RBI keeps on giving is slightly fragmented. While they have permitted NBFCs to issue credit cards, when actually NBFC approaches, there are a lot of checks and balances, etc., that has to be taken care of. There was a story of fintechs not being allowed to transact or give buy now, pay later product because of the fact that the CIBIL reporting by these fintechs play were not appropriate, which was in a way right or not right. But essentially what happens is while the government has been giving thrust on digital infrastructure, financial services to move digital, etc., etc., there is a feeling amongst the industry players that sometimes these signals are slightly fragmented. So the question out here is, what do you think the government should do to prioritize, and how is it that it will enable the FS sector at a whole? And what is it that they need to do next to ensure that the digital boom and the customer needs are taken care from a government initiative standpoint?
Related to, again, banking sector, if I will
Yes,
say,
banking.
we need to be very cautious, like as you said, KYC. So recently I got a message from HDFC Bank stating that, I think this was again through WhatsApp, and then I got an SMS from HDFC to update my KYC, otherwise my account will get blocked, I will not be able to access internet banking. And after 2-3 regular SMSs, for the 4th time, I went to the bank site and it took me to the bank portal, HDFC portal, wherein I was not able to change the KYC. Then I thought, okay, I will have to now physically go to bank and see what exactly is the issue. This is where digitalization is there, but still we have to go to the bank. And then after few days, because I was not able to go to bank, after a few days, I got a message that this is a fraud. So this was like then public. So again, I would say digitalization is a boon, but at the same time, we have to understand if all these documentations And then when we have to do why we need branches, so it is one of the reason. Maybe we will have to understand that there should be branches, and we are getting new and new branch openings. Even all our, I would say, the multinational banks also have entered into retail banking few years back, and they have also got RBI approvals for starting branches, retail banking here in India. So if you will say the budget, the government, what they need to do is they have to find out all these hackers, and even the IT sector will have to look into more into seeing that how secured our systems can be. Similarly, even if you will see authorized signatories, like even in the bank recently, the authorized signatories suddenly stops getting SMSs or messages on the phone. So the bank has to also initiate and see that all their systems which are there has to be active throughout and not suddenly get disrupted. And it stops providing services to the customers. And related to the new budget, yes, to what I see, it is more positive. The current budget is more positive for all of us to really get into better digitalization and transactions than it was before. Because earlier, when all these multinationals used to enter in Indian market for starting their own subsidiaries, they used to be a little bit hesitant and reluctant because there were very strong regulations which were not allowing them to participate. Lot of legalities to be completed in India. So that's the reason they were reluctant, but this government and the current budget has really given more insights in bringing in more funding and increasing more startups here as subsidiaries in India.
Another question which was coming to my mind was, and maybe Sandeep sir, you can take it. How do we enhance the underbanked and unbanked and underbanked population? What is it that the government need to do? What is it that the industry players, IBA, Indian Banking Association, some of the players, and maybe Mr. Kumar can also take this question, and on how do we try and penetrate in some of the tier 1, tier 2 cities where people are aware of what are the new innovation, what are the new products. There are a lot of portfolio management services that you would be providing. There are a lot of other, so basically on the financial services inclusion aspect of it. India has been driving this for some time now. How do we ensure that we are deeply penetrated and people at large are accepting it and adopting it?
Yeah, so I think a lot of efforts have been taken by the government in including every last mile banking, right? The Jan Dhan Gram Yojana and all those efforts, mobile UI, linking your Aadhaar with with your banking account, and all those efforts
The
were
subsidy
really
payment which
towards
goes
this inclusion. Uh, Hello.
Yeah, Mike,
Hello. Can you hear me? No? Yeah. So I was telling that a lot of efforts have been put in by government in last 10, 15 years, toward this inclusion of more and more sectors of the population into the banking channel, and, eliminating the cash economy as such, right? Even paying subsidies through this linked bank account, so that the last person gets the 100%, not a fraction of that in the earlier system, wherein like Manarega Yojana, wherein the payments were made in cash and a lot of scams were happening. Now with all these linking of bank account, at least the money is going to the right beneficiary, right? So all these things are happening. I think government, what they should do is basically smoothen the whole process of getting these people into the bank account. One thing which I would suggest is basically, if let's say you can have a shared agency which can do KYC for all the banks, right? Rather than doing KYC every year, or every bank is doing KYC for a single individual. let's say if I have 5 bank account, I need to do 5 KYC. Can it be, driven using blockchain or using some of those technology, and we put a shared agency which can be used by all the banks, and therefore the process is smoothened. Otherwise, including people in the banking channel becomes difficult if you have a lot of administrative hassles, right? So government has to see that how we can, smooth we can smooth this process. At the same time, they have to market more and more, on this digital, and they have to promote more and more fintech world, so that the last peoples are included in the economic ecosystem of the government. I think that's it.
So Kumar, any point of view on some customization of products, especially for inclusion public, especially for that part, so that you could penetrate into those market?
I tell you, the penetration is happening a big way. In if you look at either the broking industry or if you look at the banking industry, the entire delta of the business is coming from the tier 2, tier 3 cities. They were less penetrated with the advent of mobile, with Aadhaar becoming so prominent. I think the entire business uptick is coming from the tier 2, tier 3 cities. So that has started happening. Now, what has started happening is that how to attract these kind of a people. Unless until you make the process, as Mr. Mantri was also saying, Sandeep was also saying, that unless until you make this process extremely, extremely simple, it will not happen. Let me again take you back to a classic example of broking industries. We know that every year, 10 to 15 millions of millennials are coming into the market. Now, how to attract that? And those millennials are not only in Bombay, they are sitting all over the India. So what we have done is that we launched a product called Youth Plan. And the Youth Plan is said that till you reach the age of 25, we will not charge you any brokerage. So you can open your account after you have your PAN card at the age of 18. And from 18 to 25, if you are in that age bracket, we will not charge you any brokerage for whatever transaction you do. So this is the one way, or this is the way the companies are trying to catch the customer young. Because India is the country of millennials. This is, if you catch them young, probably, if you see a lot of banks, I have seen a lot of banks started going to the management shoot, putting their kiosk to open the account. Because they know if they are the management shoot, they obviously passed in 2 years, they will obviously get a job, and when the money comes, obviously the bank account will become active. So my personal experience says that there is a huge focus. In fact, there is a dramatic shift on tap the millennials and tap the tier 2, tier 3 cities. Aadhaar, I think Aadhaar is the game-changing thing. I think you have to give a lot of credit to the present government for pushing the Jan Dhan Yojana, making that any benefit, any subsidy you want, it has to be taken from the Jan Dhan Yojana. And I think what no other country is able to do it, and what India did was the UPI. I think UPI is just an amazing thing. Look at, we were moving, every country, it's whether Europe or a US, everybody was moving from cash to cashless. And the medium of cash to cashless was from a cash to a credit card. Now imagine if you have to get a credit card, you have to pay the fees. They will do the credit worthiness, that whether they will issue your credit card or not. Banks cannot reach to the nooks and corners of the India. What UPI does is that I don't need your credit worthiness. I don't need your, you don't need to fill any forms. You only need to have a smartphone. And fortunately, we moved from feature phone to a smartphone long back. So we have a smartphone coming about 10,000 rupees and odd. And this UPI has the ease of doing this, that people start thinking, okay, let's open a bank account. Let's use the UPI for transactions. Now UPI, all these GPays and all that, cross-selling financial products, suiting, I tell you now, you can buy, there is a company called Small Case. If you want to buy a stock, they say buy HDFC basket. One shares of HDFC Bank, one share of HDFC Insurance. They created those kind of products to attract. So now even you can start your MF with 500 rupees. So I think these are the things which are leading to more financial inclusion. Technology is helping it. Aadhaar is the big game changer. I think Aadhaar and the UPI, in my belief, is the two biggest thing which has happened in India, which is leading to a lot of financial inclusion.
Yes, please.
Basically, when we are using UPI, it is basically, that is the hard cash which we are using. And then what I have observed is credit cards have come in student credit cards, which give more benefit to the students. So they are trying to penetrate more in, as you mentioned, management schools or colleges. And more than that, children are also aware. This generation, next gen, is aware what are the benefits. They will always go and Google and see which is going to give them less cost. They are looking out for more cost-effective benefits which they are getting. Here again, I would suggest that government has to look into it, that if you are moving from cash to cashless, credit card should be used, then there has to be some kind of charges which should be reduced. Otherwise, credit card is only a mean of like getting credit facility for those who are not basically not using debit payments, like live payments, we can say, bank accounts. So here they are saying that use credit cards, but then the charges are so many that a person will be reluctant. Instead of paying so many charges, I will just reduce my cost. So then the cashless and the bank definitely will impact. When we are giving these benefits to children, student cards are there available. My son got, and that time I came to know, okay, there is a student card also. So with no, with no additional requirement, they don't have to earn. So then this is one side a benefit, but then accordingly you need to also, government also need to see that you reduce or standardize to some kind of the charges which we are levying on these children. There will be more impact of increase in the utilization.
One last question, I think, on the financial services, and this question has to be asked. We are witnessing the second largest fall in banking industry in terms of the SVB bank that we have. There is a lot of funding directly by the startup ecosystem over there in US, which is where I think they invested money. The money got back-to-back invested in some securities, which has not given that good results. One question which comes to my mind is what impact it will have in the overall startup ecosystem now that the technology companies, some of the startup companies that they had actually invested the money or kept the money inside are under pressure. They would want the money back efficiently and faster. What is the impact it is going to have on the overall ecosystem of startups, especially for India? Is there any impact at all, or will be covered as we were kind of managed to strive it through in 2008? Maybe Sandeep sir can take this question.
Yeah, surely. I think there will be an impact for this fall of the bank, and there are another 5 banks which are in line, to collapse in US as per the latest update. And all these banks are mostly, funded by venture capitalists, and primarily toward funding to the startup ecosystem in the US market, or anywhere in the world. And if the one part fails, then the whole ecosystem to some extent get affected because of this. So I think it will have a long lasting effect. The 1 or 2 banks falls like this, and it will have a long effect. And I think the funding will be a challenge for many of such startups which you do not have real business models or real money coming in a long run or short run. So definitely it will be a rippling effect on the startup ecosystem. And I think we should see in time to come how we evolve. Maybe more regulations, more governance will be put in the processes of these startup, so that we don't allow these things to happen again and again. And US by nature is a very resilient economy. They will definitely come out with this so fast, and they will definitely put some mechanism to control this whole saga.
I agree with you. Some learnings has to be taken up and something course connection has to be. Yeah, yeah, please feel free.
To add what Sandeep has said, I think sometime every threat is an opportunity. So what Indian government is telling its VCs and the entrepreneur is that don't put money in US. We are more safer than US. So put more money in India. So my personal belief is that a lot of Indian startups or the entrepreneurs who were putting their money in US will start putting in India. And as Sandeep was rightly mentioning is that I personally feel that Indian banking system is more robust. I think RBI has stipulated guidelines like CRR, SLR, what kind of investment you do, what kind of liquidity you maintain. I think all these will become more stringent. US will come back. But I'm very sure even SVC bank, it is not something where the fraud has happened. It is something which the bank couldn't manage the asset liability mismatch. It's a liquidity risk, something which were more of a macro factor. If the government keep on increasing the interest rate, somebody will have to collapse. So it was unparalleled increase in the interest rate. If you keep on increasing the interest rate, the bond prices has to go down. If the bond prices has to go down, and if there's an emergency of large fund, if you sell the fund, there will be the bank will have to sell at a loss. Somebody will have to bail out. Unfortunately, the government and the Fed didn't felt it right to bail out, but I personally see that a lot of bailout will happen now because these are not fraud. These are macroeconomic factors. If you, for the donkey's years, you are at a 1%, 1.5%, suddenly you become 6, 7%. Any system is going to collapse that way. My belief is that there will be more stringent guidelines now, but we will see some government support coming in. My belief is that there will more money will stay back here, and even the entrepreneurs, venture capitalists will start looking as a risk management of diversification, that not put all the eggs in one basket. So they will start putting in more and more other banks. But we will overcome this for sure.
Our government, as you mentioned, is really, we have more robust plans RBI has, which very clearly shows that the banks which were not performing, we have immediately started merging them with the performing banks rather than making them collapse. So that is very important factor which government has taken, RBI has taken.
Pishu ma'am, how are we placed on the time? Because I have got another section to be taken up, about 5 questions more. So we are comfortable, or
Yeah.
we'll take the Q&A? Fair, 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 fair.
Thank you so much to our esteemed panelist and moderator for this engaging and insightful discussion. We would now like to invite questions from the audience for question and answer session.
Hello everyone, my name is Nasir. So as sir rightly said that these third parties app is leveraging their strength to cross-sell, and bank is not able to do that much. So sir, according to you, what would be the future of the traditional banks, and also what are the strategies these banks can come up to compete with these apps?
I tell you, bank are equally aware of the challenges. They are working overtime to ensure that uh, they counter the threat or they counter the disruption which is being created by the fintech company. But the bank will have to understand is that one is that they can develop the same kind of a platform, which is very difficult because they can't match the talent and the expertise of a technology firm. What they're trying to do is they're trying to come into the alliance with these kind of a third-party platforms. So most of the banks are now tying up with these third-party platforms to provide these services to the customer. So the way forward, so I'm very sure that number of banks will come down, but banks will thrive, obviously, for sure. But there will be large integration of third-party platforms with the bank main platform. So assuming I'm saying that if a bank is there, bank is selling multiple products. Now, bank has started, assuming bank has a wealth management product, either they can develop their own platform, their own website and sell there, or they can tie up with a third-party vendor, a third-party platform who has out-of-the-world wealth platform. And though it doesn't comes into the public, I think most of the bank, most of the companies who have a deep pockets are already in this process and they are buying out these small fintechs. So in India, I think that's one way of making money in India also. If you go to Bangalore, if you go to a lot of IITs, what they do, they have created large fintechs. And their expertise is in creation. Their expertise is not in running the business. So what they do create. And in 2-3 years, they sell out to a bank and move on and then start creating something else. So every bank, every company is, even we will have 13, 14 fintechs, we have bought it. We bought it once of 50 crores, 30 crores, 20 crores, you buy it. The creator is happy, we are happy. So I think bank will integrate a lot third-party platforms to counter these challenges, and they will be able to do it.
Thank you, sir.
Just to add to this, banks also might look at segmenting their customers and defining the strategy appropriately. So if it's a tier 1, tier 2 city, I'll have a customized product and customized service. If it's a college student, I'll have a tie-up with a vendor or a third party. Can I have a neobank kind of a setup where I can be in the back end and the customer has used all the user interfaces that a neobank provide, but the bank is typically in the back end making the entire. So that's the way to go for bank. It's customer segmentation, customer strategy, and then tie up with partnerships. Those are the levers that they should look at as Sally said.
Hello everyone, my name is Jay. I have a question related to
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
related to the we have seen the apps like Zerodha, which have created a boom in trading in equity in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So in near future, which sector will create a boom like this? Will it be insurance or it will be wealth management or any other sector?
मालूम होता तो मैं उसी सेक्टर में जाके जॉब कर लेता. Very difficult. I was just giving an example is that how WhatsApp came and changed the things. How UPI came and bank thought no money transaction can happen bypassing them. So very difficult, but I tell you, any financial services which is most underserved, where the penetration, so look at why Zerodhas. Look at even now, after COVID, the number of, only 4% of Indian population has broking account. In US, it is about 38%. In China, it is about 22%. Even if we reach about 20% of our population, look at how big it will be. So any financial services which is not penetrated has a huge scope of disruption. So I personally look people-to-people lending. That's another one. Lending is becoming another. I tell you, I did some course on digital a couple of months back from ISB. They did everything. You fill the form, they have the tie-up with somebody, they see your credit score, they fund you the zero interest EMI, everything happens immediately. You don't need to do anything. So my belief is that all these, whether it's a banking, whether it's insurance, whether it's a broking, there are miles to go. It will happen because large population is still not penetrated. Health is another industry which will see a lot of penetration. I think education, colleges is going to be another, because still a large population of India is still uneducated, not getting the quality education. I think those area will see lot of disruption, lot of innovation. But I tell you, it is already up.
No, because again, Credit Suisse Bank, Central Bank of Switzerland has again, funded them, the Credit Suisse Bank, about 57 billion yesterday. And therefore, to some extent, they have, bailed out the Credit Suisse Bank. So it definitely, all these things which are happening in last few weeks will have an impact on the financial market for sure. And you will see a lot of tightening in each of these market, whether it is US or Swiss market or India market, as far as the venture funding is there. And another thing which will happen is that, see, in India the issue is that we are not entrepreneur driven market, right? And US is more a venture driven, entrepreneur risk driven market, right? So there you see a lot of these things happens over over a course of time, while India is more a stable economy, because the ratio of entrepreneur is far less than as compared to US. But having said that, all these events which are happening in last few weeks or fortnight will have some impact, and in time to come you will see. I mean, nobody can predict what will it be, but there are more updates to come in next few months, to my view.
Just to add to what Sandeep has said, we may think that the central banks or the reserve banks are run by the brilliant people, but some point of time they also do a lot of stupid things. So in post 2008, they printed money like crazy. So they made everything free. Now they are unilaterally, they are so obsessed with the inflation that they are increasing the interest rate like crazy. So my belief is probably that this will be an indicator not to the US but to India also, is that you just can't keep on increasing the interest rate to control the inflation. Look at, I tell you, we don't have inflation in India that much. But since US is increasing the interest rate and we want to have a real interest rate positive, otherwise the money will flow out, we are also increasing the interest rate. By increasing the interest rate, you are putting so much of pressure on the people who have taken the EMIs, people who have taken the loans. You are making them, you are forcing them to default. And it will be a contagion. So the regulator will have to start thinking, the RBI will have to start thinking, is that you just can't follow what US is doing, and you can't have just inflation in mind and keep on increasing the interest rate. So probably this will be there will be a pause. People will think that there has to be balance between the inflation and interest. You can't on increasing the interest rate and keep increasing the burden on the people and still survive. Anything which you do excessive will result in an accident. So there will be, we may see slight softening of increase in the interest rate. Good for people who have taken housing loan. None of you have taken, but those who have taken are happy. Right?
Good morning to all of you. My question, you touched upon this briefly in your talk, but my question is regarding regulation. We all saw people take health insurance during COVID when the disaster had struck. And insurance as such is a very tightly regulated sector. You have IRDAI. Maybe Zerodha of insurance isn't able to take off because the regulation is quite difficult and quite tightly. Uh, the regulations are tight. So, are our regulations up to date to current requirements, or will they allow the Zerodhas of insurance to fly at the moment? Are they stopping them? Is that?
I think our regulators are equally smarter. I think our regulations are far better. If you look at RBI, whether you look at SEBI, whether you look at RDA, I think, let me give you an example. SEBI internationally, every brokers are entitled to hold the money of the customer. So if you are an investor, if you want to buy something, anything which is extra will stay with the broker for a longer period of time. India is the only country in the world who says that if the customer has transferred the money and money is not utilized, please transfer it back to the customer's account, which nobody has done it. India is probably the only country who is saying that T+1 cycle. You must have read, the people who are in the finances. We were at a T+2. We used to have T+15. T+15, now it's T+1. So you buy tomorrow, you get everything. It's not even US, it is not T+1. In fact, a lot of the financial institutions said, how will you manage that? So I feel that our regulators are doing a great job. Probably they know at what right time need to open up. One is that it is better that people are aware before start investing. People are aware what they are buying insurance. People should be aware when they are buying the stock market. People are aware when they are buying complex financial products from the bank. So the regulators are, I think, doing a great job. And we are ahead of the curve. And as Sandeep was showing, the way we are growing in terms of the GDP, and we will become probably the third largest economy in the world, I think our regulators are up to the challenge.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. This is Pranav. So my question is, sir, as you mentioned, 85% jobs are not yet invented for 2030. So what are the areas so we should look forward?
Not yet invented.
I also wrote the answer below, saying is that most of the learners today, what they will do 2030 and beyond has not been invented. It can be debatable, but I say difficult to predict what will happen. So like a scooter driver, get good training in college, and then keep working, keep improving your skills, take additional skills, whatever is available, so that you can become a Formula 1 driver. But difficult to predict, to be very honest.
Thank you, sir.
But I tell you, the premium is for continuous addition of knowledge, not one-time addition of knowledge.
And always unlearn. Unlearn and learn. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We would like to express our sincere gratitude to all our esteemed panelists and moderator for generously sharing their valuable time, thoughts, ideas, experiences, and wisdom with us. Some of the key takeaways for all of us are as follows. India is second largest provider of unicorn after US. Growing mergers and acquisition market in India. Blockchain is the future of finance. ESG investment will be crucial in the future finance sphere. Importance of data security in financial markets. Big data is the fuel for the economy. And human touch cannot be replaced.
Before we invite our Head of Finance, Ms. Mishu Tripathi, for the vote of thanks, we are pleased to announce that Mishu ma'am has been honored as the Best Teacher in Finance at the Icon of India 2023 Awards. This notable recognition was presented by the Institute for Social Reforms and Higher Education Charitable Trust under Niti Aayog of the Government of India. As students, it is a great source of pride for all of us. We would like to request our esteemed panelist and moderator to felicitate her with this well-deserved award.
We now request ma'am to come forward. We now request ma'am to come forward for the vote of thanks.
Hello. Hello. So thank you for this award. The idea, the basic. So there was a nomination filled every year. The zone-wise awards are being organized. So there is a nomination you have to fill in the various categories. So there were 136 nominations across different categories of all the domains. So I was fortunate enough, lucky, thanks to all of you for your blessings and guidance that I could get that. So I just give this award because being a Best Teacher Award, I always dedicated the award to my students first, and then to obviously my institute, TGBS and Tim Sir, and all of you for being there. That is why. Thank you so much for honoring me with this award. Thank you. So to start with my formal vote of thanks, I'll again start with the beautiful quote. The best and beautiful things in this world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt by heart. Thank you is one such prayer among them. A graceful and warm afternoon to each one of you. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion. Today, my words are not enough to express the gratitude to each one of you. I, on behalf of entire TGBS family, would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to our keynote speaker, Mr. Mantri, and Ms. C.A. Pinky Kedia for gracing the occasion with their thought-provoking address and set a perfect platform for our Finance Conclave 2023. They have very well highlighted think innovation, think technology, growing internet population in our country, low leverage economy with respect to debt to GDP ratio, median age of 28 years, wherein ma'am C.A. Pinky have highlighted that ESG investments are very crucial in the current landscape, the impact of regulations, the importance of data security in financial markets. Further, I would like to thank all the speakers for sharing their knowledge and opinion with respect to our theme, Navigating the Financial Landscape 2030 and Beyond, wherein Mr. Kumar have very well highlighted that winner takes it all. Acquiring knowledge is a continuous premium. And ma'am, Kalyani ma'am have very highlighted that you know to know your accounting, your numbers well to grow. Basics should be very strong to grow up in the ladder. And I would really like to thank Mr. Ajit Singh for excellently moderating the panel discussion, dividing into various parts, highlighting the crisis, the budget, and the current financial industry's trend. Thank you, each one of you. Also, I would like to thank our management, our CEO, Mr. Karan Singh, CFO, Ms. Grina Karanani, CTO Dr. Ramkumar Ambatipudi, CEO Ms. Riya Pai for their constant support and encouragement in all our endeavors. I would also like to thank our beloved director, Dr. Shuchi Gautam, for her words of wisdom that always radiated a source of energy within us. We'll always be grateful to you, ma'am, and thank you for always being there with us. Further, I would like to extend my gratitude to all my old students sitting here for their active participation and involvement in matters of their alma mater and helping us grow. Thank you guys for gracing this event with your presence. I would also like to thank the people who have been the backbone of this event, the finance department, for their continuous dedication and support from the time of idea generation to the execution. I've been fortunate enough to be backed up by a team of motivated and dedicated colleagues who know their job well. I would like to make a mention of few names here. Professor Darshana for guiding the students throughout the PR activities and guiding the entire registration process. Professor Jonathan for designing all the emails, schedules, brochures, banners for the event. Professor Gayatri for all the social media content, the beautiful video coordination, which you all have seen at the beginning of the event. Professor Kinjal in designing the beautiful certificates, the ID cards, the feedback forms, and also in making our SSC look more beautiful. Professor Joydeep for the smooth functioning of the entire event from the start to end. The reason being, he is the faculty who was behind the Masters of Ceremonies of the day today. Thank you so much, Joydeep. Professor Surbhi for guiding the students in making the beautiful Rangoli, which you must have seen at the entrance, working closely with them and giving them a push to perform better in the entire finance conclave. I cannot thank you enough for their involvement and their willingness to take on the completion of all the tasks. Further, my sincere gratitude to all the teaching and non-teaching staff for their constant support and participation. Further, for our team of volunteers without whom an event of this dimension would have been not possible. We have been fortunate enough to be backed up by a team of energetic and motivated students. I cannot thank each one of you enough for the involvement you have shown and the willingness you have expressed to take on the completion of tasks beyond your comfort zones. Thank you for your efforts. Further, a big thank you for the masters of our ceremony today, Prashant, Saloni, Anjali, and Nikhil, for their efforts towards anchoring of today. I mention my deepest sense of appreciation and would place on record my hearty thanks to all the Finance Conclave Committee members, because of whom this event would have been possible. Again, it would be unfair if I don't mention the names of few committees and their members. So I'll start with the PR and the registration teams, where we have got the registration from approximately 10 plus colleges, which includes Jeet, Pratik, Arkesh, Chandresh, Karan, Mandar, Rushil, Trupti, Anjali, and Viraj. The creativity team, which includes Atharv, Bhavna, and Shikhar. The digital team, which includes Ankita, Pavan, and Srushti. Now, talking about the overall coordination, we have a team of Manas, Nikhil, Darshi, Zeel, and Mandar. Talking about the support, where we are talking and delivering, is the team of IT and digital. I further extend my gratitude to our IT team, Mr. Biren, Mr. Dinesh, Mr. Veer, Mr. Ganesh, the Ramnavas Prajapati, and our digital team, which comprises of Mr. Shresh and Professor Gayatri, along with Mr. Nilesh, who has been capturing all the lovely memories in photographs, and also to all the support staff for their extended efforts. Further, I thank the wonderful students who have turned up in great numbers, not only from our institute, but from the other institute too. Thank you so much for your active participation. As I end my vote of thanks, I cannot think of any other way of summarizing the wonderful event than quoting Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam from Wings of Fire, who once said, When learning is purposeful, creativity blossoms. When creativity blossoms, thinking radiates. And when thinking radiates, knowledge is fully lit. And when knowledge is lit, economy flourishes. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
We would like to express our sincere gratitude to the students of the following college for their active participation in today's Finance Conclave. DTTS College of Commerce and Science, Kiran Devi Saraf College, Bal Bharti College of Commerce, NL Dalmia College of Arts, Commerce and Science, Nagendas Khandwala College, Nirmala Memorial Foundation College, NM College, St. Francis Institute of Management and Research, Thakur College of Science and Commerce, Thakur Ramnarayan College of Arts and Commerce, Thakur Polytechnic College, Vivek College of Commerce. Your presence and enthusiasm has contributed to making this event a success.
We express our sincere gratitude to our distinguished keynote speakers, esteemed panelists, and our exceptional moderator for generously sharing their insights and wisdom with us. Without their valuable contribution, this event would not have been a resounding success.
We also extend our heartfelt appreciation to the management of TGBS, our dedicated faculties, and our enthusiastic audience for their unwavering support and participation, which played an instrumental role in making this event a great success.
The insightful discussions, innovative ideas, and rich experiences shared during the event have been truly invaluable. We hope that the knowledge shared will continue to inspire and empower us to make a positive impact in our respective fields and beyond. Let's take a moment to show our appreciation for our esteemed guests and give ourselves a very well-deserved round of applause for contributing the success of this event. Thank you all for being a part of this memorable occasion.
We request our panelist, moderator, TGBS director, and the faculties from finance domain to come together for a group photo.
The student volunteers, I'm calling out the name, please join in for a group photograph. Manas, Nikhil, Darshi, Zeel, Jeet, Mandar, Saloni, Prashant, Ankita, Pavan, Anjali, Atharv, and Bhavna. Please join in for a group photograph. Student volunteers team, please. First. Yes, settle down. Yes. I'll just request all the other finance students also to please join this. All the other finance students also please join them. All the finance students please join them. Only one finance students only, right? Na? Yes, please stand. Yes, please join.
ये देख तू दिख रहा है में रह गया
Thank you all the students. You can take your respective places. All the volunteers, please escort our guests to the lunchroom, please.
To all attendees, we kindly ask that you take a few minutes to fill out the feedback form for this event. To all attendees, we kindly ask that you take a few minutes to fill out the feedback form for this event. Your feedback is greatly appreciated as it will help us improve and make future events more better. After completing the form, please collect your participation certificates from the registration desk. We ask that you fill out the feedback form promptly as our volunteers will refer it to distribute the certificates. Thank you for your cooperation. Kindly fill the feedback form. The scanner is on the screen. Requesting the volunteers to please guide the external participants to fill the feedback form.
I would request everyone to please fill up the feedback form. If you're facing any difficulties, I'll ask. Please fill the feedback form. I would request everyone to please fill the feedback form right now. If anybody is facing any difficulties, please let me know. Please fill the feedback form. Please भर दो वो actually उसके related में certificates है इसके लिए. Please fill the feedback form. Only then you will be getting your external participation certificate. Please fill the feedback form. If anybody is facing any difficulty, please let me know. Feedback form? Done? Done? Very good. Have you guys filled the feedback form? Kindly filling. Great.
Give me your phone now.
2% है.
अरे वो फटाक से सर को भेज देती फोटो.
So ma'am, you have given them their badge.
वो TCSC का सर्टिफिकेट्स है ना सारे इनको हैंड ओवर किए.
तो आपको दे दिया ना. आपका नाम क्या है? हाँ तो हमने आपको दे दिया ना सब सर्टिफिकेट.
हाँ तो तू माइक में अनाउंस करके और TCSC सर्टिफिकेट्स आर हैंड ओवर टू पूरव.
So all the TCSC participants, your certificate has been given to Purav Joshi. Kindly collect it from him. Other participants? Other participants are certificates. Ma'am, what about the other participants from other college? Please, other participants. We'll be announcing and giving it to them. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Kindly collect your participation certificate from the registration desk. Except TCSC, other participants, kindly collect your participation certificate from the registration desk. I request you to collect your participation certificate from the registration desk. All the TGBS students also have to fill the feedback form. FMHO has to fill the feedback form. You guys have filled the feedback form? एक मिनट आप इधर आ जाओ. TCSC participants, kindly collect your certificate from Purva Joshi. बाद में मिलेगा ना घर पे ही है ना तो घर वाला है ना बाद में देखते हैं. You guys have filled the feedback form?